Welcome to the Rational Optimist Podcast. I am so lucky I got to talk with Noland Arbaugh today, the first human to receive a Neuralink brain computer implant. Noland's paralyzed from the shoulders down after an accident he had in his early 20s, but now, thanks to Neuralink, he can control a computer with his thoughts. That gives him real independence, he can work, he can communicate better, and as you'll hear, he's just getting started. Noland is the embodiment of rational optimism, someone whose life was radically improved by technology, who's using this breakthrough to help others, and who still believes the best is yet to come. Noland and I talked about what he's excited for, including being able to control his wheelchair with his thoughts in the not-too-distant future, and eventually controlling a Tesla Optimus robot with his thoughts, and his unique take on AI stealing jobs. Hope you enjoy our conversation. I'm so glad we're talking today because you have such a unique perspective on technology, and you're like the embodiment of rational optimism, which is the idea that innovation and technology have dramatically improved lives, but we're not done yet. We have so much further left to go, so many problems left to solve. So could you start by telling me about your life before Neuralink and contrast it to your life after Neuralink?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I talk about this all the time with people, and every time I'll say something, and it's sort of new, in the sense that there was so much that was different. It's hard to talk about all of it. It's hard to really give someone a picture of what my life was like in like a few short sentences in a couple of minutes. I think it would take hours to explain how my life was different. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. So I guess like one of the coolest juxtapositions in my mind is the fact that the day I applied for Neuralink, I couldn't even apply on my own. Like I couldn't use a computer well enough, the internet well enough to go online and apply on my own. I had to do it through someone over the phone. My buddy was on the phone, and he would he would ask me questions on the application, and I would answer them, and he would type them in. So it's just, if you think about how limited I was, that's kind of a cool starting point, I guess. But outside of that, it was just, I didn't really have a lot of like foresight or purpose. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to improve my life for a couple of years before Neuralink. I was trying to learn and just better myself in different ways and find a niche where I fit, find some way to improve my life and work and maybe provide for myself, find some way to become more independent. I think that was my journey for 8 years, was just finding independence, finding something that would make me more independent than I was the day before. Um, and I wasn't having a lot of success. I was trying to find work, but even like handicap placement programs, people who who work with like handicapped people, people with disabilities of all sorts, putting them into work, like placement programs. I went to apply for that and I just didn't qualify because I didn't meet like their minimum standard for what they needed to place me in any sort of job. And so like I was just sort of stuck trying to find my place, trying to find like what I could do. Um, because I didn't just want to be on, government programs, social security my entire life. I want to be able to get off of that, provide for myself in some way, and work and maybe leave my parents' home at some point. There's just so much that I was trying to do, but on a day-to-day basis, I was just lying around watching YouTube videos, trying to learn that way. And it's hard. It's hard when you are solely learning by just watching stuff or reading stuff. I mean, there's a lot of knowledge there to be gained. There's a lot that you can do with it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you need to be able to put it into action. You need to be able to write something down, or test it out, or like put it to use in some way. And I just had no way of doing that. So I was consuming things, and it was just sometimes in one ear out the other, because I wasn't able to work with it in some way, get my hands dirty and apply it. So I was just, I don't know, aimless, I would say. And obviously, I was not very active in the world. It was really hard for me to keep in touch with people, my best friends, extended family. Like, sending a text message was all through like Siri at that point. So, like, hey Siri, send a text message to this person, send a text message to mom, or send a text message to Austin or David or whoever. And it would, it was all dictation, and Siri's not great at picking up what you're trying to say. And so it would say something wrong, and I'm kind of a stickler for grammar and perfection. So every time it would get one word wrong, it would just bug me. So I'd redo it. So like, no, edit and redo the whole thing. No, edit, redo it. And if you can imagine trying to send a few sentences, a paragraph, and a few words are wrong, or something is just completely wrong, and then you have to redo the whole thing. And so it could take me 5 or 10 minutes to send a text message, and that's super frustrating. If you're trying to hold any sort of conversation with someone, it's just impossible, let alone trying to keep in touch with all of my friends and all of my family. I was just kind of isolated. Um, yeah, it was not a great way to be living. I wasn't getting out. I was leaving my house maybe a few times a year. I just had no reason to go anywhere. I had no reason to get out. Yeah, there just wasn't a lot going on in my life.
Did you use eye tracker software before Neuralink?
No, no, I didn't. I tried once or twice. When I was in the hospital at first, I tried, um, and it just wasn't great in 2016. I would sit in front of it on a computer, and it just wouldn't like calibrate correctly, wouldn't like center correctly, and I just couldn't really get it to work at any sort of proficiency. On top of that, I'm incredibly spastic, so my body will spasm, and I'll move left and right. I might fall a little bit to the left or slide down a little. And when you're using eye tracking software, it needs you to be pretty motionless, pretty stable. Otherwise, if I go like a couple inches to my left, then everything is off just by a couple inches. So it was not good. I did not enjoy it, so I just never used it. I was using a mouth stick and a quad stick, and even the quad stick was hard to use. Even the mouth stick was hard to use. Like, there were so many things that I was trying, and they just weren't great. It was so frustrating all the time.
Did Neuralink work great, like right when you got it, or has it
Oh
was
yeah.
it was it a learning curve?
No, no, it was good from the get go. Um, we've come a long way since then, and looking back, I think, yeah, it was not good back then, but it was still better than every other PCI out there. It was still better than all of the other options. Eye tracking software, um, like just control with it was really good, comparatively to the rest of the field. Um, there was a lot of learning at that stage. When Neuralink works with animals, when they work with monkeys, they give a monkey a task, and they say, like, move the cursor to this bubble and then to this bubble, or click this box, click this box. Um, you can tell a monkey to do that, and it may comply. It may like do the task as you want it to, but you never know what its intentions are because you can't have a conversation with you. You can't say, okay, what happened? Like, why couldn't you get to that bubble? Why did you, like, why did the cursor go to the left? Was it because the monkey's attention drifted? Was it because the cursor control was just bad? You just don't know. So when they got it in a person for the first time, there was feedback finally. And that feedback loop just grew the product, grew the chip, grew everything just exponentially. Yeah.
So how much would you say it's improved since you first started using it?
Ooh. At that's hard. I would say across the board, like everything included, at least an order of magnitude more.
Wow.
Like, it is just like cursor control was good at the beginning, but it was good with Neuralink, flipping switches, pulling levers, turning knobs all in the background, like real time. And so everything I was doing, they were sort of adjusting on the fly. And now it's all personal use stuff. It's all stuff I can control. So just that in itself is leaps and bounds better, but they've just added so much to it. They are constantly growing and constantly adding new features. So like where I was then is sort of, I don't know, incomparable. Like, it's just it was so different than looking back. And man, it just makes me excited for like the next year, like how much better it's going to be, especially with all the different participants now. Like, for what, 5 or 6 months, it was just me. And so like a lot of what they were learning might have been an isolated case.
Right.
They wouldn't know. They didn't have enough data points. Like, okay, is this going wrong because of you and like your brain and like the thread retraction and all of these things? Like, is this all happening because I don't know, something is different about you, your brain, anything? So with more participants, they get just more data sets, more data points, and they can kind of go across the board. Like, okay, this works for all the participants, so we know that's good. But in this participant, it is much different. So like, what's causing this? So it'll just get better as they add more people too.
Could you talk a little bit about how you can now move a cursor just by imagining it, and how it surprised you that you were able to do that?
Yeah, it was wild the first day. I mean, constantly I am using the device and not realizing how profound that is, that I'm able to do what I can do, because I'm so used to it at this point. When other people see, their jaw sort of drops, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a pretty big deal, isn't it? And I forget that all the time. At the beginning, it was kind of the same thing. Like from day one, when they connected to my implant for the first time and I saw my neuron spikes in real time, and I could like affect change in them. I could try and wiggle my fingers and I would see like neuron spikes, and it all just sort of made sense to me. I understand that it's a pretty incredible technology and very sci-fi in a lot of ways, but in my mind, everything worked like it should. Like, it's like, okay, this makes sense. Like, everything still works on my brain. All of those neurons are still firing. It's just they can't get to where they're supposed to go because of the break in my spinal cord, the like break in the chain. And so when I was moving the cursor with attempted movements, it's like, this makes sense. They're just registering recording neuron spikes for my attempted movements,
So
my
attempted
intentions.
movement. Sorry to interrupt. Attempted movements
Yeah.
is like you try to move your pinky and then they map that to a cursor move on the
Yes.
screen, right?
Yeah. So when I try to move my pinky, neurons fire in my motor cortex where the implant, like the threads are. It's in the motor cortex on my left side of the brain, specifically correlating to my right hand. When I did a functional MRI, they had me do all sorts of tasks, try to move this, try to move that, lift your hand, open, close your hand, things of that nature. And they were watching what part of my brain lit up most. And my right hand was the strongest signal. So that's why they implanted there. And so now when I, like you said, move my pinky, all those neurons are firing and the threads are in my motor cortex. Those electrodes are picking up those signals and then they are mapping it to certain controls. So I can like calibrate it. If I want my right pinky to be a right click one day, a left click another day, if I want it to move the cursor, like I can do all of that because I can just map it to what I want it to be. And so that's attempted movement. I just try to do it, and even though it's not actually moving, all those signals are firing, and that makes sense to me. It's like, okay, well, I'm trying to do this. Everything still works in my brain. They're just picking up those signals and turning it into whatever I want, whatever sort of output I want on the computer. And so, like at the beginning, everyone was so amazed, and I was like, "This is how it's supposed to work, right? Like, it's cool, but like it all made sense to me." The day, like I think it was 2 weeks in, the day that I realized, like I tried for the first time to not attempt to move my hand, to just think I want the cursor to move over here. The day that I realized that worked, I was giddy. It blew my mind.
So you figured that out without the Neuralink people like asking you to try it?
Yeah, I mean, they'd always talked about the difference between attempted and imagined movements. So attempted movement, you were physically trying to attempt to move your hand, or I guess my hand. Like I was trying to do that. And then they told me about imagined movements at the very beginning, like you will be able to go from attempted movement to imagined movement. And it didn't really like make sense to me. There are things that just weren't like clicking in my head. Like, okay, attempted movement makes sense, but imagined movement, like I don't understand that. It's kind of a abstract concept that didn't, register with me. And so it had never like occurred to me to try it or like even how to try it. It's just not something that is super easy to conceptualize. Almost like riding a bike, you know that it can work. That, at some point you should be able to just pedal and the bike will move forward and you won't fall over left or right. Like, I'm told that that's supposed to be how it works, but until the first time you do it, it's just sort of a something far off. It's something that you can't really understand until it happens. And so like that was always in the back of my mind, but not something I was actively trying to achieve. But one day I was playing WebGrid, which is just, a grid of squares. Well, it's a grid. And one of the squares will light up and I move the cursor there and try to click it. And so for 2 weeks, I was attempting to do it, and cursor control was getting better and better every day. Like day one, I broke previous BCI world records, and every day after that, I broke it like 2 times. Like, so for the first 2 weeks, I'd broken the record. What is that? 28 times, almost 30 times. It was just going up and up. And so I was playing WebGrid, just moving it around. And I clicked on one of the squares, one of the targets, and then I looked to another target to like start moving the cursor there. And the cursor just moved. It moved without me like attempting to go. And I was like, what just happened? Like how, like what did I do? And so I just started kind of like looking around the screen, and the cursor would like move where I was looking. And I was like, this is not supposed to happen, right? And then I realized that it wasn't following my eyes. Like I could, look somewhere else, but if I thought where I wanted the cursor to go, it would still go there, even if I wasn't looking at it. And I was just playing around with it. It was indescribable, that moment. But once you learn how to ride a bike, it just comes naturally at that point. You realize like what you have to do to make it work, to how to stay upright. And so from that point forward, I knew like what I had to think in order to get the cursor to move. I knew how to like wrap my brain around what was happening and how to affect that change, how to make it do what I wanted. And I was just smiling all day. Like it was bizarre to me, but one of the coolest things that has happened during this whole process. It truly became like sci-fi to me at that point. And from that moment on, I was like, what else can it do? Like what limits am I putting on it?
Uh-huh.
What limits am I, in my human rational brain, like, am I putting on this technology? What is it capable of that I am not fully letting it accomplish? And
That's wild.
yeah, so yeah, I
It
know.
sounds like the Matrix when the girl bends the spoon.
Yeah, right. Like it just changed my whole outlook on the technology and what it was capable of and where it was going and what I could do with it. And so from that moment on, I've just been open. But again, like new improvements, new steps forward, they're all abstract to me until I actually do them. But I know that a lot more is possible, so I push the limits a lot now just to see.
So what's next on the roadmap for you? I know you may get chair control within a couple of months.
Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know, man. Like they're working with the other participants on different things. They may not work on the same thing with all of us at once. They may test something out with all of us, and then whoever, I guess, gets the best score on it, let's say, they will work with that participant to, get the best results. And so they've been doing that, and some things that I'm able to do, the other participants aren't as good at, and some things they do, I'm not as good at. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I will be next, because some of the stuff the other participants are working on, I just don't know about. And one day they'll come to me and they'll say, hey, like we've been working on this with P2 and we want to try it out with you. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like where has this been the last year? Like, why have you guys been holding out? But I don't know, man. There's chair control. There's the Optimus robot arm control. There's connecting to other devices. There is, I don't know, just so much that I know is coming in the pipeline, but I don't know when they're going to get to it. So it'll be really exciting. I'm always looking forward to the next day to see what they have to offer. Every time they message me, like, we want to test something, I just get excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it? Like, what do they have for me today? It's a lot of fun.
You're basically writing the instruction manual for everyone who comes after you. That's pretty cool. It must be a big responsibility too.
Yeah. I mean, I knew from the beginning that I wanted to help people. That was my whole mission going into this. And day in and day out at the beginning for the first 5 or 6 months, I knew that everything I was doing would make life easier for everyone who came after me. And that really pushed me to perform and pushed me to give it my all every day. I don't know, writing the instruction manual sounds a bit, um, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm doing that much. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just want to do what I can so everyone that gets to experience this in the future has as easy a time as possible, like interacting with it and getting to know it, and the user interface and how good the calibration is, like all of these things. What I'm doing will just improve the product in the future, and that's really cool. It's really awesome to be a part of. It's a huge honor. It's a huge privilege to be able to do this. I don't necessarily see it as a huge responsibility. I know that it is, but I don't want that to weigh on me in any way. I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and I think that everything I do with it in some way is helping someone in the future. It doesn't necessarily have to be me pushing it 12 hours a day as hard as I can go all the time. The little things that I do, the little feedback that I give, the projects that I want to be a part of, everything that I do gives Neuralink another data point. And I think that is exactly what they want from me.
Do you feel like you were taking a big risk when you got the Neuralink in?
Yes and no. I mean, I knew it was a huge risk, but I was at such peace going into it that it never even dawned on me not to do it. Um, I thought through all of the risks. I mean, I thanked God every day after my accident that He left me with my mind. He left me with my personality and my love for learning and I don't know, my brain. I was so grateful to God for all of this. And going into a brain surgery, it's like, this is the last thing I have. So, like, if something goes wrong, if I get some sort of traumatic brain injury and I am mentally impaired in some way, like, it's a scary thought. It's not an easy decision. I thought about it for months. I had really hard conversations with my parents about it. I mean, the risk that I took, everything that I do is not just about me. It affects everyone around me, my caregivers. They're the ones who are taking care of me. They're the ones who have to deal with my actions and consequences that come from them. So I had a lot of conversations with them about it. And I told my parents at the beginning, if you don't want me to do this at any point in time, if you say you're not comfortable with the risk I'm taking, then I'll stop. I won't do it because it's not just about me. But at the end of the day, they knew that I was really passionate about it, and they were incredibly supportive. And so I was at complete peace with whatever was to come because I knew, good or bad, I would be helping someone in the future. If something went terribly wrong, God forbid, then I knew they would learn something from it. Everything is a data point, everything. So that put my mind at ease too. I just thought, no matter what, they'll learn something. And that was enough for me.
Wow, it's a great perspective. If you, hypothetically, Would you push it further if you could? Like hypothetically, if there was a surgery that I know eventually, hopefully Neuralink will be able to, you put one in your brain, one in your spine, and like people will actually get to movement of their actual bodies back. If that were hypothetically an option today, would you take the risk again?
Absolutely, without a second thought. I have so much faith and trust in Neuralink at this point. I did at the beginning. Um, they were so they were so good to me and my family. Any questions that we had, anytime, they were there to answer. Um, they were all in it for the right reasons too. Everyone I met was just passionate about helping. I mean, the joy that they get from me just having more independence is on par with the joy I get from it. And that's infectious. I mean, when you're part of a culture like that, it makes you want to do better. It makes you want to do more. And so if they want to experiment on me a little more, then I'm perfectly fine with it. Like I said, everything's a data point, and I'd love to push the technology as far as I can and do everything that I can to help the project.
How do you feel about a future where people who don't need it get it and they use it to enhance themselves?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. That's something that, like, I think is everyone's personal decision. My first goal, my first passion in all of this is helping people with disabilities. So that's what I focus on. I know that there is a future where able bodied people, people without disabilities, will get it to enhance themselves. And I say, why not? Like, I think the technology is awesome. I think that there's a lot of future promise for what it's capable of and what it can do and how it can help the human race in a lot of different ways and push us forward. And I'm really excited for that day. Uh, I, I mean, if I wasn't handicapped, I would get it. I would get it because I know what it can do for me as a quadriplegic. I can only imagine what it could do for someone who doesn't have a disability. I think it's a really cool future. Obviously, there are a lot of like ethical concerns about this, and I've spoken at length about it with a lot of people. I'm not an expert on these things, about like all of the philosophical debate, ethical debate. I've done a lot of reading and spoken with a lot of people who are much smarter than I am. But at the end of the day, I think that as long as we move forward responsibly, there are a lot of steps we can take to mitigate a lot of the negatives of this. But it won't be perfect. We can't cover all of our bases. We can do our best to make sure that it is safe and accessible and, I mean, just able to not only help others, but be, well, the best word I can think of is safe for everyone to come. Um, as long as we do all of these things, I know that it is worth it. Technology is something that I've always believed is not to be feared, is not something that we need to um, be so wary of as some people are. I understand that all technology is just a tool, and the technology is not, I guess, the evil in this scenario. People are evil. People will find ways to use this for evil purposes. I have no doubt in my mind. They find ways to use all technology for evil purposes. We can do everything in our power to mitigate that, but I'm sure someone someday will find some way to use it in an immoral, uncouth, like just irresponsible way, destructive way. But I don't think that means we shouldn't push forward, because I think the benefits far outweigh the risks. Think of any technology that has come, any major advancement. I mean, the internet, for instance. I think the internet has helped many more people than it's hurt. And it's hurt a lot of people. But the upside far outweighs the downside, in my opinion.
You're a true rational optimist, man. That's our thing too. I want to get your perspective. That was a good lead into this question. You have AI with how fast it's moving is really freaking a lot of people out. On one side, on one extreme, you have the doomers who think it's going to take all the jobs and, maybe kill us. Other side, Pollyannish people who think it'll be nothing but great. Where would you put yourself?
I think I'm just a realist when it comes to all of these things. I am extremely excited for AI and what it's going to be able to do for us, what it already is doing for us. I think we need to push the limits of it as much as we can. I am not afraid of technology taking people's jobs. I don't mean to sound insensitive. I don't know. Insensitive. Yeah. I don't mean to, I guess, downplay all of the risks or the hurt it's probably going to cause people as it does take jobs. But I think that's progress, and I think that those people will not just lose their jobs and go off and like be useless and sort of go and die and like die off, wallow in sadness and despair. I think that people are adaptable at their very core. And so you take one job away, but they will find another way. They will find something that they are good at. They will find a way to use their skills in different ways. There will never be a shortage of jobs in the world. And as AI progresses, new jobs will open up. It's not like AI will just do everything for humans for all time. It's not like once AI progresses that humans will be out of work eternally. You think about like the Industrial Revolution and how many jobs that it took from people. Those people adapted and found another way to be useful. And I think AI is the same thing. So I don't know. I'm very optimistic about it.
Me too. I mean, 90% of all the jobs that existed in 1800 are gone now. They were hard jobs, plowing the field, that kind of stuff. And the jobs are better and more important now. So you're speaking my language. Yeah. Real quick before we go. So you've talked about how you can play games now. I know you can play chess and you can play Civilization. Yeah. Is it good enough to play games like StarCraft where you have to be quick?
Yes, it is. Wow. I've played some real-time strategies. It is getting better every day. I would say 6 months ago, maybe it wasn't. But today it definitely is. I think it's one of those things where it won't be easy when you first start playing. You're definitely going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn how to be quick. You're going to have to learn all the mechanics. It's different. It's not, I mean, it's just like starting StarCraft for the first time for anyone else. You're not good at it at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think that over time you learn and you adapt and you are capable of playing at a very high level. I think that it is capable of doing that. It's just one of those things. I mean, the quad stick is a great example. The quad stick it's just a joystick that you move with your mouth and there's buttons on it and holes you blow into and stuff. I'm terrible at it. I'm awful with it. I remember trying to play one of the new Call of Duties with it and play the story mode. And you start out on like the beaches of Normandy and you're storming the beaches and stuff. And I never made it off the beach. I was there trying to move around, trying to, shoot and aim and move and do all these things, and I just couldn't do it. But there are other guys who use it and are extremely proficient with it. They are much better than I think I would ever be. And I think it's going to be the same with Neuralink. I think that some people will be able to adapt and use it at an incredibly high level. I've played some real-time strategies with it. What did I play? I think I tried StarCraft. There was another one that I tried playing. I can't remember, but it worked. It worked. It wasn't great at first. I think I played a few, like maybe 5 or 6 months ago, and it was like, okay, well, this could be better, that could be better, but I was in a different place then, and I think it's much better now. So it's getting there. It's really getting there.
Last question is from my 6-year-old son. I told him you could play Switch,
Okay.
and he wants to know if we can all play Mario Kart together sometime.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Mario Kart. So like, this is something I've been wanting for a long time from Neuralink. I played it in the first couple of weeks after I was implanted, but it was, again, them pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And so I couldn't do it independently. Maybe a month ago, they finally got it working. They were working on a lot of different things. And finally they were like, we're going to focus on this a little bit. And they did. And I've had some pretty fun gaming sessions with it. So yeah, man, I'm really excited to kind of get out there with it and start playing some people. I had some more adult versions of it that I would like to play. But yeah, I'm totally down to play with y'all. That would be a lot of fun.
Really appreciate you coming on to chat with me. I know you're in high demand, so I appreciate you for choosing us to talk to. Is there anything you want to mention before we go?
Yeah, recently I've been confronted with, I guess, this reality that what I'm doing actually does encourage other people to get the implant and puts their minds at ease a little bit. I never thought that what I was doing would have that effect on people. I don't know why. I just assumed that people would make up their own minds whether or not I did this or not, whether or not I was showing them, I guess, how healthy I was and how much fun I'm having with it. I just thought people would want it because they want it, not because I was showing them anything. And I got to talk to, I guess, some of the other participants recently, and they were all very forthcoming, very honest about how what I'm doing here really encouraged them to get the surgery and to apply. And so I just want to tell anyone that's listening to this, if you are handicapped, if you meet what Neuralink is looking for, then I really encourage you to apply, because you never know what this will do for you, what it's capable of, and what you can do with it. I think there is so much promise and so much fun to have with it. There's so much purpose that it adds to your life, and there's a lot of possibility. Jordan Peterson talks about like potential and a lot. And I think there's a lot of potential for this, and a lot of potential in people that is just untapped because maybe of a disability. Maybe they just don't think they're capable of doing something. And with Neuralink, you just might be able to. So I encourage everyone to apply, because it is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. And I'm so excited for everyone that's going to come after, and so excited for what it's going to do for people with disabilities. It fills my heart with joy to know that this will help someone like me in the future. So yeah, just hop on board. We're having a great time,
What does someone actually do who wants to get the Neuralink? Like, who do they talk to?
They just apply online. There's a huge database.
Okay.
There's a huge, I guess, repository of people who have applied. And so you just apply. They have pretty strict criteria, but it was the same for me. They had incredibly strict criteria. They said at any point in time, if what your disability is or one of your answers you give, something about your life doesn't line up with what we're looking for, then we'll say, like, thanks, but we're going in a different direction. And I knew that from day one. And so I was like, okay, fine with me. Like, I didn't expect to get in, and here I am. So you just never know if what they're looking for aligns with you perfectly. So I encourage you, apply, and you just might get selected. They're planning on implanting a lot more people in the next year or so. Yeah, get out there and see what the future holds.
It's a great note to end on. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.